1865. Charles Lockhart and his partners found the Atlantic Petroleum Storage Company in Philadelphia.
There's a torch in the night, 100 years been burning bright. It's the Amoco torch, and it's leading the way.
In 1902, the first exploitation company was putting up its first derricks 300 miles northwest of the Persian Gulf.
So the noise and bustle of newborn enterprise shattered the silence of the Persian hills. And wherever oil went, there was pioneering, distribution, marketing, enterprise. For this wondrous stuff called oil is always a driving force.
From 1917, the brand name BP began to appear.
great operator thought is all about motivating everybody in the organization, whatever it is they do, to do things today just a little bit better than they did it yesterday, and to keep on doing that. Everybody used to say to me, Vietnam has no safety culture. So how were we going to be successful in our HSE efforts in the project? Because once first gas comes to us, fourth quarter this year, if we've achieved that on time, on budget, with the right sort of quality, but in the process we've killed a couple of people and injured another 20 or 30, then the project would have been a failure.
And we worked through with many town hall sessions with all the contractors to try to condition them as to BP's expectations for HSE.
And in particular the Vietnamese people, when you take the time and the effort to explain to them what the expectations are, why you're doing it, I have to say that in all my years of experience, it's very encouraging that they respond to a man.
One key message I would say is that you should be putting 80% of your effort in selection. If you select the right contractors, then it becomes a very much easier job.
Since March, Draugen gas export availability has stabilized above 85% after having dropped to below 40% in February. The gas export rate has improved by 2 MBOD BP net.
Production from the Ula, Gyda and Tambar area has been maximized by creating a commercial framework for win-win solutions for BP, its partners, as well as the authorities.
The change seen can be described as one workforce, top management involvement and commitment. The number of perfect days is significantly improved from previous years.
In the outturn, we delivered first oil in 5.5 years from the point at which we discovered the oil, and 3.5 years from sanction.
When the field was sanctioned, we had a 3D survey that had been shot. After sanction, it was recognised that we could make further improvements on that data set, and we shot a high-res 3D data set.
We've been lucky all along in that we've had a very positive technical working relationship with TFE. We had a lot of West of Shetlands learning which we could contribute to the project. For example, to recommend an additional workover umbilical, which was a very wise decision because in the event the 2 workover umbilicals that we were using in the field both had problems.
One of the most outstanding features of the project has been its incredible ramp up from no production at all to up to just beyond 200,000 barrels per day. We have strict emissions targets on greenhouse gas emissions.
Angola is a country with many needs and many challenges. It's essential that projects in the deep water blocks of Angola are developed efficiently and operated efficiently so that the people of Angola will benefit eventually from the resources in their country.
Depletion planning is one of the key themes that the Reservoir and Wells Go team is working with. It therefore provides a bridge between the short-term options, production in the next year or two, all the way through to the ultimate recovery factor and the technical limit.
The SWETS team has been set up within the Southern Business Unit. It has supported the well work and the well review programme of the different performance units. It has developed a portfolio of options for implementation, shared best practice, passed on lessons learned, and developed a scorecard that provides transparent tracking of the well performance.
One of the most exciting things to come out of this new range of thinking is the way that we deal with our contractor management, and in particular how we engage the corporate management into being as motivated about safety as we in BP are.
For many years we've run the helicopter service basically the same way, and we gave a young team the challenge of looking at the service and trying to see if we can do this in a better way, a more efficient way, a way that gave the customers truly what they needed. Gave this team a lot of space, and they took on the challenge.
We delivered the improved helicopter utilization and the cost-effective and efficient service to our users.
We not only are utilizing it 95% of the time, but we are utilizing it both for the technology part as well as for getting local schools involved in understanding our business.
And the reason for the schools coming into the Hive is to encourage the children into geoscience as a career.
Expectations at the start of the year was 1% performance improvement, giving you an efficiency of 94%. We actually came in at 96, so we literally blew our targets out of the water.
lot of money in technology to progress the development and the monetization of natural gas. It's a pretty unique experience, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
North Star Islands is the first offshore remote island in the Beaufort Sea.
Management's commitment to properly resourcing our drilling engineers for the type of drilling operation we have going in Prudhoe Bay.
An example of how we've been trying to behave as a great operator in the Coiled Tubing Drilling Group has been with our recent drilling program out in the Caparrock field.
Here on the Milne Point SPAD project, we've introduced new and creative piece of technology. We've used the very high resolution that you get from a 3D VSP to bring technical excellence in imaging the subsurface.
Looking at this enormous project from every possible perspective has helped illuminate things. It's helped validate some of our assumptions. It's helped illuminate a number of other areas where we think we can really make this project work best for the company. So that's got to be a great thing.
One thing that's apparently obvious is that well work is a growing area of activity and delivering a great return for the company.
There are more than 50 active wells in the field, and to evaluate the opportunities which ones to do the well work for, the Well Work Challenge webpage was a very useful, handy tool for us.
The advantage of the Well Work Challenge page is that anyone from anywhere in the world can go in, have a look, and can then make a quality decision about what work we're going to do.
And as a big company like BP, heading towards great operator status, this is truly fantastic to be able to have a well-by-well understanding of our well work benefit.
People are absolutely key to us becoming a great operator. If we don't have the right people in the right job at the right time, we'll never be a great operator.
Well, Ford is one of Forty's greatest assets are its people. For example, Forty's Bravo was the first platform to transition to a minimum manned organisation. That was coming down from a core crew of about 30 people down to 13.
In the West of Shetland, we've got over 50 wells, development wells, that have all been drilled using oil-based mud. For the first time for our water injector, we used the water-based mud to drill the reservoir section.
Well, what the great operator I think means to the MACA team is the recent success we had in the drilling performance and the installation of a smart completion.
Traditionally on the rig, the technical limit was managed by outside consultants, but we found that really wasn't giving us what we wanted out of technical limit. So instead, the drilling engineers and the night reps are taking over technical limit.
One of the major successes of the turnaround was the modifications we carried out to our produced water system. We are now able to achieve produced water daily targets of 125 MBD at a quality of 40 ppm oil and water. That's a step change.
One of the biggest things in Miller is that you can improve on is on the scale squeeze efficient in there. That enlightens the column so much more that it's much quicker to bring the well back.
Very satisfying to go to the field and see how workers doing very simple jobs
people who are unskilled and who used to not even wear shoes some time ago, give you a lesson about risks and about awareness and about how they prevent being injured or injuring others while doing the job.
We have open conversations around HSE, and even management is challenged on HSE performance by the workers.
When one of my workers told me that his wife was using goggles and gloves to change a ball at home, that's really impressive.
The clarity that the Reservoir and Wells Go team has brought to management of the base has meant that the topics of decline and decline management are now part of our daily conversation. This process of tracking our barrels begins with a daily production meeting, which is underpinned by very powerful IT links.
It is not a morning report. It is in fact a highly interactive meeting where we are able to give some bite to the business objectives.
We're now connecting Cusiana, Cupiagua, the Yopal base and the Bogota office through our webcast facility so that engineers in the office can be connected efficiently with what's going on in the field.
It's about being top quartile in everything we do.
The heroes in this really are the people who work on the facility.
We bring people together to create the best they can be in everything they do.
The best
It's giving people belief.
a great HSE performance.
BP really cares for its employees. A wider vision and better communication. A company that goes for innovations. BP means for me excellence and safety. Simply great.
I mean, this is actually the magic of a cultural change called Great Operations. It's a great operator.
Build the capacity to move to this entirely new place, to be the best in class, to be the great operator.
number one, objective number one, is to get to know some people inside this leadership team that you didn't know before. Ambition number two is that we work out, each of us individually, 2 or 3 things that can drive us towards becoming a great operator. And the third ambition is that everybody in this room learns one new notion, one new idea, one new thing about leading.
The key piece of this conference is about learning. I'd like you to think of this as a personal learning diary. We're going to be looking at personal learning, and we will have a mechanism also for organisational learning.
It's about winning. It's about being part of a winning team. The competition clearly inside. Passing Shell in 2006, toe-to-toe with Exxon in 2010. It's worth being part of that, isn't it?
So we just need to lift the fraction. We just need to go up to 41,000 feet, where the sky is blue, the air is thin, the horsepower in the compressors is high. We've sprayed the clean cold water into the inlet, and we've got another 2% horsepower. That's 42,000. That's what we need to do. When I asked myself this question, I decided to go for a little swim. So I leapt into the PI box, and I started swimming upstream.
Nobody with bad dreams last night about Dick swimming in their PI pool.
There is a difference between what individuals think they can do and what teams can do, and that's what you do. You have to figure out what the team can do, and that's always greater than the sum of the individuals.
I think that what we're trying to do within the context of the stream is to build an extraordinary business. It's extraordinary on a variety of fronts. It's extraordinary certainly from the standpoint of production, financial outcomes, but I think also extraordinary in the way we're going to go about doing it.
I thought I had the best job in the whole world. Just imagine if instead of waiting until we're in trouble before getting help, just imagine if everybody was open to searching for, actively inquiring for ways to get better when things were going well. It seems to me that might be one of the keys to get from being a good operator to being a great operator.
I think sometimes we forget that all of the great success stories that we hear about in our organization are delivered by teams, but that those teams are made up of individuals.
We decided to use a BP tool called WETS to blow the lid off and see what was in there and find out what was good and what was not so good. Last year we got 26,000 barrels a day of well work production. This year we're going to spend about the same amount of money, but we're going to get 39,000 barrels a day.
Last year our ops efficiency was 81%. This year it's 94%.
It is with tremendous pride that I can today say when I work for BP that I know I work with a company who's taken a leadership role around the environment, around things like transparency of doing business, that have actually changed the reputation of this industry. There's no question about it. We are, in fact, very, very different.
This is what perfection looks like in 2002. 0 days away from work cases in 2002. Let's give them a real round of applause. Now, this is the first zero that every one of us need to focus on. This is the first zero that our company needs to stand for and say will not happen on a BP site.
Some few days ago, we had our first days away from work this year. That's 9 months and 8.8 million man-hours since the last one. BP's policy made me realize that it was not only about the people who work for BP, but the people who work with and around us.
But this is actually about the creation, the care and attention of building a team with great skill, enhancing that competence, giving people the right tools, giving them the right experience, being there as the coach, helping people to be the thing that they might be.
Just never forget how good you are. you're very, very good. And that's evident from what's happened so far. But the thing about very, very good people, as you all are, is you know very well that, as I keep saying to people, however good the past has been, the best, ladies and gentlemen, is yet to come.